Yo, YouTube, it's your boy EBTV Sports back with another video. I know it's been a while. It's just been a lot going on. Just a lot of changes and getting busy, but I always wanted to make some time to talk some sports. I got some boxing videos dropping soon with my guy. One of my guys, love one to hate one. You already know who he is. Boxing. He's a boxing genius, so we got that about to drop, just driving around, living life. And I was thinking about this Brock Purdy thing, Brock Purdy MVP conversation. Why is Brock Purdy, and I want to talk about that whole thing, him being in MVP conversation. Does he deserve it? Is it him? Is it a system? I want to talk about that. I think Brock Purdy, solid. He's a solid QB. You can't be mad at him for anything, He's doing exactly what you need him to do. He's not messing anything up, so you can't really blame Brock Purdy at all for anything, You kind of can't get mad at him. He's doing his job, so you can't take anything away from him. He's doing what is presented to him, He's not doing anything less, not doing anything more than he needs to do, So you can't take much away from Brock Purdy. Nice scenery right here, you know what I'm saying? But I do believe that Brock Purdy is a product of the system. Two things can be true. Brock Purdy has Trent Williams, a great offensive line. Trent Williams being the head of that. He has Deebo Samuel. He has George Kittle. He has Christian McCaffrey, Elijah Mitchell, Brandon Ayuk, Ryan Jennings, another underrated receiver. Ryan Jennings, he don't get his credit like he needs to because he's overshadowed by all the other talent. But I think had he been on a just an average team, he'd be a number 2 or 3 option. Elijah Mitchell, Kyle Juszczyk, and let's not even get started on defense because that contributes to the rest of the team. He has Greenlaw, Chase Young, Bosa, Fred Warner, Jimmy Ward, or one of the Wards. Solid corner though. You had that guy, got injured, Hall of Fame, not Hall of Fame, but could have been actually. But he's an all-star Pro Bowl safety. He got injured. He has just a stacked team. Like the semblance of talent on that team is unreal. They got all kind of people. It's just stacked to the rim. That team is stacked, And when you look at Brock Purdy's games, he has the highest yardage, but the least number of pass attempts. You know what I'm saying? So they either tell you the two things: either A, he's throwing bombs, or B, yards after catch, which he's also one of the top quarterbacks in the league with that yards after catch. A lot of his other yards, though, however, because he's not the top yard after catch quarterback, but all his other yardage comes from just these mid-level passes. He's not really throwing deep bombs, but these passes, whenever you watch Brock Purdy, you watch him drop back, throw the ball, you'll recognize that Brock Purdy, his talent is so good around him that usually the guys he throws to are wide open. Like, it's literally pitch and catch. Like, we're just playing catch out here. Like, it's to the point where I think if you put any quarterback that's not dumb, like, don't make any mistakes, just a solid quarterback in there, you put them in that system, as long as you can throw the ball and be somewhat accurate, you will succeed in that 49ers offense. Okay? The guys are wide open. It is the most wide open receivers I've ever seen in my years of watching football. I've never seen receivers be so wide open. Like, literally, last game he threw a nice threw a pass to Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey was so wide open that he failed to make the catch, got up, had time to regain himself and get up off the ground and run to the touchdown. Okay, that's how wide open these guys are. He'd be throwing to Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, and they can put their arms out. They can put their arms out laterally and have space. You know what I'm saying? That's how wide open these receivers are. put their arms out laterally and have space, and not anybody be around them. And they also have Kyle Shanahan, great coach, when given the right weapons. He has to have good weapons. You know, the Redskins proved that when he coached there. He's got to have the good weapons. Kyle Shanahan, another dude, great scheming. The scheming he does leaves these guys wide open, you know, and it's just so, he's in the perfect situation. It's almost like one quarterback who was in the same situation, Jimmy Garoppolo. Didn't even have Christian McCaffrey, but he was in that same situation, 2 NFC championships, and got to the Super Bowl. Couldn't get it done. I think Brock Purdy is a little bit better than Brock Purdy is a little bit better than Jimmy Garoppolo, because Brock Purdy is just a little bit more pass heavy. Jimmy Garoppolo was almost the definition of a game manager. They didn't really have him throw too many passes, but I think if they did, you know, if they did have him more pass heavy, he'd be fine, you know, because the guys would be wide open. It's the same situation. So Jimmy Garoppolo was a solid free agent on the market. Somebody believed that hype, you know, picked him up on the Raiders. Jimmy Garoppolo has now been benched by an undrafted QB from Purdue, who nobody's ever heard of. Aiden McConnell. If this man was walking in Walmart right now, I wouldn't know what he looked like until I started watching the games. So, you know, in all ups, you know, no disrespect to him. He made the NFL. That's an accomplishment within itself. But my point is, nobody knows who this guy is. And he takes Jimmy Garoppolo's job. Jimmy Garoppolo's on the bench for an undrafted QB who frankly is not all, you know, he's not all world. He's not like shockingly talented. You know, he's just better than Jimmy Garoppolo, which makes me think, if Aiden McConnell was on the team that Jimmy Garoppolo was on the team, if Aiden McConnell was on the 49ers team that Jimmy Garoppolo once was a part of, Aiden McConnell would be doing better on that 49ers team, and he was undrafted from Purdue, same as Brock Purdy, 3rd round draft pick. So is Brock Purdy good? The answer is yes and no. You can't say Brock Purdy is terrible, because the stats speak for themselves. Okay, he's not a terrible quarterback. He's doing exactly what he's being asked to do. You can't take anything away from him. Okay. But is he a good quarterback? No, because the 49ers would be just fine without him. If Brock Purdy's not even the 3rd best, maybe not even the 4th best offensive player on his team, well, he's gonna get MVP. How does that work? Okay, but if you took Brock Purdy and I think you put Sam Darnold in there, give Sam Darnold a couple weeks to figure it out, he does the same thing. You know, so I think Brock Purdy, is he good? And you know, he is what he is, but he's not doing anything wrong. He's doing exactly what's being asked of him, and that's all he can do. Can't take much away from him as a person. You know, I'm not really, you know, I have nothing against Brock Purdy, but his fans, the guys who just hop on him, you know, it's crazy. Y'all can't see this thing. And some people will put race into it. It does have a factor, but, you know, I just think he's the product of a system. He's not even better than, I know he's not better than like a quarterback like C.J. Stroud. You know, he would not do the same thing on the Texans at all. But he has a system around him. And the media, they're eating it up, man, because they can't see. It's not that hard of a concept to figure out, but evidently people can't understand this, you know. The guy is a system quarterback, and there's nothing wrong with that, you know. So the question is now, do you give him MVP? You know, because my opinion about this is, you can give him MVP, you know what I'm saying? But if you're going to determine whether he deserves MVP or not, you have to establish the criteria first. The reason why I say that is because you have to figure out, what is the MVP award based on? Is it based on purely stats? Then you can make a case for him. You know, you might as well go and give it to him. Or is it based upon the holistic game, watching the game, you know, how the game goes, you know, or is it based purely on numbers? Because numbers can be deceiving. You have to watch these games for yourself. So, you know, they have Tyreek Hill being considered for it. I think they're going to give Brock Purdy MVP if I had to just do a prediction. But that's the question. What is it based on? Is it based on purely numbers? Because then maybe Brock Purdy does get the MVP, you know? Or is it based on watching the game? I think it should be based on both, you know? But he's not even the third best player on his offense, you know? So are you gonna give it system quarterbacks MVP? Because let's break down the word MVP. MVP means most valuable player. So do you believe that Brock Purdy is the most valuable player in the NFL right now? I say hell no. Okay, absolutely not. But you know, sometimes it's a popularity. He's very marketable. They love him in the media. You know, partly due to certain things about him. Had it been another different quarterback, they'd be calling him a system quarterback. But because it's Brock Purdy, and you know he's very marketable. You know, loved. Nobody hates him. Nobody's criticizing him like that because he's doing everything he needs to do. But is he the most valuable player in the NFL? You can't say that honestly. Nobody can say that with their heart honestly, that he's the most valuable player in the NFL. The most valuable player. Can you really say that about Brock Purdy? Think about it. He's not even the third best option on his team. Okay? Let's keep this in mind. The 49ers have not had a losing season, and I don't know how long. Maybe since the Kaepernick days, when Kaepernick was leaving. Okay? The 49ers have been in the NFC Championship or in some kind of heavy playoff contention all but last 3 or 4 years before Brock Purdy was even starting. Okay? Because they have the most consistent team. They bring these players back. They have a great system. They have a great team, you know? It's just great, perfectly built, great defense, great weapons, okay? So, does Brock Purdy get MVP? I'm gonna close this out. I don't know. But if he doesn't get MVP, that'd be controversial because people will look at the numbers like, all right, well, you ain't giving MVP, but look at his numbers, you know? Get the best numbers in the league. So, it's difficult. It's a difficult time to be a judge. But he's not the most valuable player in the league. He's not even a top, purely skilled, he's not even a top 10 quarterback. I'm talking about pure skill. You know, just sitting here, man. Pure skill, I can name you 15 quarterbacks right now. Let's do it. Russell Wilson's better. Pure skill, Russell Wilson. CJ Stroud, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Tua, Matthew Stafford, Trevor Lawrence. Pure skill, you can name a lot of quarterbacks better. Dak Prescott. He's on the level of I mean, I can't even give a comparison. He's better than Zach Wilson. I mean, that counts for everything. But he's okay, you know, but I can name you, like I said, 10, 15 quarterbacks better. And that it's not like, you know, he's not trash, but it's just a product of a system. And that's okay, you know, but he is a product of a system, and we all know this. So the question is, what is the criteria for MVP? That's the question. So my answer to that question, does Brock Purdy deserve MVP? What's the criteria? You know, is it purely numbers or is it the holistic game? Because it's gonna be the first time in, I mean, years where the MVP of a listen to this, the first time in years that the MVP is not even top 10 in his position and purely skill wise. I'm not talking about numbers, purely skill wise. If you put them on like an average team and you really evaluate the skill of the quarterback, he's not even top 15. So is this a numbers thing? You know, if it is, then maybe Brock Purdy gets it. But is it a holistic game? Watching the whole game, analyzing, you know, the little things, the little plays, you know, giving a holistic analysis of the game, you can't give it to Brock Purdy. But, you know, it almost feels wrong not giving it to him when he has the best numbers in the league. So, yeah, man, that's all I got. You know, I got some boxing coming out. I just want to mix it up, give you some NFL. You know, I love sports, man. So, talking sports is almost therapeutic. But yeah, if you're new to the channel, you know, like and subscribe, man. This is a YouTube thing. Is for me to just to get my thoughts out. I'm not really big on trying to make money from it. That would be nice, or trying to get a lot of viewership. But I just want to get my thoughts out. You know what I'm saying? So, UBTV Sports signing off. And like I said, I got some videos dropping soon, and Yeah, peace out, y'all.